Bay Jerusalem, and I'm back, family, with another lesson. Y'all don't see, man, that this industry is plotting on our brothers and sisters to use them to crash out and do foolish things in front of the world. Watch the Most High work. We gonna get into this tonight. I'm gonna do a mic check. Y'all give me a second, then we gonna get to it. Y'all see Pooh Shiesty then just crashed out, man, and put his whole life in the can, man. He down there in Texas and Dallas doing foolish things. If you know Texas, man, they law system don't play, man. So, you know what I'm saying? We gonna get into this today why him and Durk both ended up in jail. You know what I'm saying? After putting out music, talking about killing and doing all these things in the ghetto that shouldn't be glamorified or glorified. Had a lot of kids die in the streets over the years from this drill music. All this stuff is coming back full circle, full surface. And I hope y'all can see that these people were at the top of the world. They had all the clout, all the money, all the fame. Now this brother is back in jail. Him and Durk looking at life sentences. We're gonna do a mic check and then we're gonna get into it. All right, let's get it, family. Man, I'm gonna talk on this briefly because I probably need to do a whole video about this. But I had to go live because everybody online giving their perception of what's going on. Gucci snitched. Uh, Pooh Shiesty, he'll crash out. You know, these are things we gonna see. You know, most importantly, it make us as a people look bad because I was just talking to my wife, and when I first seen this earlier, I'm gonna just give y'all a perspective of how, you know, even if a brother come from bad predicaments and standards that God, you know, put us in positions and the devil put us in positions sometimes. Even when a brother is blessed, he can't see it. Let me explain it. So, you know, when I seen it initially, they was talking about his father was involved in it. And that's another sad thing that this boy just got out of jail and his father can't even lead him right to tell him, look, no, we're not going to go try to pull guns on them to make a contract work. You know, we're going to work our way out the contract legally. You can't take street tactics into the business world. Now, this is a brother who was blessed. His parents stayed. He had his dad staying in Cordova in the rich side of Memphis. I'm looking at it on the news. The brother got Maybachs and BMWs in the back of the garage, and I'm like, big house on the corner in a white neighborhood, most likely. His white neighbor saying, we never had trouble over here. SWAT team coming over there, kicking the door in, looking for weapons and stuff that'll stick to this case that happened in Dallas. So, with this brother, everything that happened, this brother just crashed out, and he's already blessed. He got 3, 4 cars in his videos. I'm looking and seeing. It's like, why be sitting in jail for to do life in the Texas penitentiary because you wanted out of a contract? Even if you did, you got to be able to open your eyes, brother, and see. Well, it's too late now, but somebody around him should have been able to open his eyes and say, hey, brother, you blessed already. You doing okay. Ain't no point in you sweating about money, trying to get out of deal. Do what you need to do. According to what I could see, Gucci Man was the one that put the brother on. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't nobody know him if Gucci didn't co-sign him in the first place. So whatever, if you came in with him and you don't like the contract, work your way out. Everybody know you could buy your way out the contract. But when you buying chains and cars and you got to fund a crew behind you, because I heard he had about 8, 9 people with him. And there's no way you could fully be successful with all them type of people around you. And this is why Durk failed too. I'm from the Chicago area. I'm from Kankakee. So I'm very hip on what happened with Durk, chasing his clout, feeling like he has to avenge Von's death. And he threw his whole life away too at the top of the game. Both of these brothers had a song called Back in Blood. Now they're both sitting in jail doing life. How ironic. Promote violence. And we can't just get on them because these record labels, they go out and look for the people in the low impoverished neighborhoods that has an arch enemy that's rapping songs and videos about it, so they can try to catch on to the controversy and they made it a blood sport. These labels that sign these brothers out of the streets for pennies to rap about their stories in the streets and glorify the violence that go on in the streets of the ghettos, it's a place in hell for them. Because the true people, we see that this is deeper than Lil Durk, or Pooh Shiesty, or King Von. It's people that sign these people. It's people that sign these brothers to talk about these violent things and if you look in Chicago or Memphis, is the towns and the cities is riddled with violence, is riddled with crime because these young brothers don't have any skills to make money. So they have to resort to crimes and crime to get money, underworld stuff. They never learned the skill. They never learned how to pick up a hammer or pick up a lawnmower, start a business. It was never given to them. So you have a brother like Pooh Shiesty you got a brother like Pooh Shiesty who got everything from robbing and selling drugs. So when business need to be handled in a formal way, he don't know how to handle it. He go to pulling guns on people. You gonna sign this? And this brother got millions, and he still haven't figured out you can't handle stuff in the business world like in the streets. Gucci learned a long time ago. After several jail stints, he said, okay, I'm not finna keep going back and forth to jail. Got him a good wife on his side, and he stayed clean. And he made more money than he ever made when he was dirty. So the brother Pooh Shiesty just threw his life away because he couldn't understand this is the business world. If you want to get out your deal, you don't pull a gun on your record CEO, your recording label CEO. You work your way out that deal. You buy your masters back. You have to earn these things. This is how the music industry is set up. You can't extort somebody. You can't extort somebody out of signing a contract for you. And it was foolish because you need lawyers and other things to sign off on these things. And he didn't realize that too. Totally ignorant to what it took to get out the contract And then you know, he's maybe lost a little bit of his mind in jail. He just got out. But I think it's just a bad influence. He got all these people, you know, me looking at the information I seen, had people getting on the Greyhound, going from Memphis to Dallas, pulling up, going to hotels, probably came with guns to do this stuff. You know, took the man, I heard they took Gucci Mane's wedding ring and his chains. They took, you know, it was a security guard who was off-duty police. A lot of people don't know if you a security guard and somebody take your gun or a crime happen, you have to report it. So all of this street code, Gucci, he snitched, it was all on camera. It was all, they went to a high-scale studio in Dallas, in a rich part of Dallas, and that's where all the crime happened. There's cameras in the studio. There's cameras when you walk in the studio, in the lobby. So, you know, I just find it sad that him and Durk ended up in jail pushing this violence, being used by these rats in the industry that sign them for a couple million, then they make $1 billion off of their records. Sign them bogus. These rap industry contracts be bogus. The Pooh Shiesty is so rich, why was he wanting to get out his contract? See, because he got to play the Joneses. He got to buy the chains. He got to buy the cars, or he isn't considered a rapper. You know what I'm saying? He ain't considered a rapper. Oh, you ain't buying no chains. You ain't buying the newest, you know, cars. And you know what I'm saying? If he ain't flashing, then you ain't no rapper these days. You ain't flashing your wealth. So when you got to play that game and you probably signed a 6 record deal with Gucci. Probably had only put out 3 records, probably owed him 3 more records. And probably it felt like he did enough, but this is how the industry works. As soon as you done fizzling out being hot, shit, that's when you getting out your contract. But at that point, you would have built a big enough catalog to carry your career, even if you had to work for your masters. So, you know, it's like, it's okay. We keeping this on the raw. Some baby in the back. But, you know, I don't know if the brother had kids or not, but if you got kids, you don't throw your life away like that. Now, Gucci Mane might not have said nothing, but these other white executives that came from Atlantic Records, they gonna snitch on you. You choking them up, stealing their Rolex, they snitching. You know, in the hood, and you rob a brother, he might not say nothing, but you go in the suburbs and rob somebody, they gonna file a whole police, they gonna write a full police report on you. Full description, everything. And today, when you got cameras, because when I looked on the website, they got everything. They got the license plates. They got the hotels. They got fingerprints on the cups because these brothers they robbed, they were drinking. When they got drinks, they were supposed to sit down and record records. Him and Gucci was supposed to record some records, talk about the contract. His daddy even went to Staples and printed out his own contract that he tried to force Gucci to sign. This is just all foolery. Like, come on, man. You really think Gucci Mane was going, and I know I'm kind of going everywhere, but I'm just dropping y'all the information I done downloaded. You know what I'm saying? We getting back to it this year. But this is a travesty. I think my take gonna be better than most people take. So I want y'all to check this out, how the Most High God has laid his judgment down on this music glorifying violence in the hood. Everybody that's was star in the drill music, the smartest person was Chief Keef, and he kind of started it. I feel like he didn't want it to happen like that. It just naturally happened. He was just talking about what was going on his block in the industry. You know, I ain't gonna get into who run the industry because they'll try to take the video down. But we know who run the rap industry. We know who are behind these rap labels and record labels. They signed him, and he kind of like, he didn't want it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody seen he could have been a super big star. He didn't want it. 50 Cent had video set up for him. He didn't show up. The record labels were trying to push him to this, but who stepped up was Durk. He stepped up to want to be the spokesman for violence. The the poster boy in the rap industry for violence. Him, NBA Youngboy, King Von, Pooh Shiesty. They did videos together. They had to get together and do videos because they all were poster boys to the violence that was going on in the ghetto. They had songs where they talked about, things they went through, but it don't overshadow what they were being used for a majority. Durk then tried to change things around till he knew he had a few cases on him. Then it's All My Life with J. Cole. Once he realized, oh, I'm probably finna go to jail, that's when he did what he probably should have did off the back, and that's push positive music. All these brothers had the ability to push positive music. Yeah, you could tell your story. You could tell what's going on in your life so people could relate. But remember that brothers and sisters is watching you, and everybody can't be a superstar rapper. So you need to let them know the real. Don't let them go out and crash their life out trying to be a rapper when it's 1 in a billion. You're going to be a rapper unless you're willing to do some crazy things to get on, and you still might not get on. And at that point, you done disrespect yourself. So the rap game is so low tier in the first place. And it's a high occupied job that everybody wants to do. Not realizing, like DMS say, once you get there, you a real dude. You trying to get in the fake industry. You trying to get in the fake industry. A lot of brothers then died and went to jail trying to get in the fake industry just to realize, look, man, this wasn't even for me. So, they got these brothers. These brothers supposedly robbed these. I'm gonna tell y'all the rundown. So supposedly, Gucci Man and Pooh Shiesty was supposed to meet at the studio in Dallas. Now why he wanted to meet in the studio in Dallas and not in a good part of Memphis, I don't know. Because Dallas, they laws is way more stricter than Tennessee. But let me continue. They were supposed to meet up him, so they meet up him, Gucci, and 2 other people were supposed to come with Gucci, probably from the record label, Atlantic or whatever other record label, because everybody is slow. We're going to break it down on this channel. Gucci, Pooh Shiesty is not just signed to Gucci Man. This is the rap industry. Gucci Man signed to a label. It's a partnership. He signed to 1017, but he's also signed to Atlantic or Universal or whatever. So other people are involved, executives and stuff that they send out. So it's not just going to be Pooh Shiesty and Gucci making the decisions. So anyway, they come to the studio from what I see, from what I read, because it was, I've been downloading information on different outlets, even on the Justice outlet of the Northern District of Texas. I get real information on this channel before I drop the facts. So when you're dealing with me, you're going to get real facts. You're not going to get some watered down stories. Everything I'm saying, you can fact check it, it's going to be real. It's in the paperwork of the course, everything I'm finna tell y'all. So this ain't allegedly, this is what the prosecutors that wrote up in a case against Pooh Shiesty. Now, we're going to tell a story and then we're going to tell how Pooh Shiesty maybe could get 15 or how he could get life from this. So what happened was, they needed to set up a studio. It was closed, so they called the top studio in Dallas to meet. Boom, they set it up. Gucci Man, Pooh Shiesty and them came first. And then, but in the paperwork, they said the building was originally Gucci Man. Matter of fact, Gucci Man them came first. And there was a studio inside of a building, and the building was open, but the studio was closed. They had to call the studio owner to get, to send somebody over there to open the studio up, get an engineer over there to record the song and everything like that. The songs they was going to record, because they was not only supposed to talk about business, they were supposed to record some songs too. So they say soon as Gucci Man, his 2 security guards, and maybe the 2 people from Atlantic came in, it was already guns on them. Already guns on them. and they said he said he wanted to. It was they didn't have the guns on them, but they had the guns. He said, "Hey, I want to talk about the contract." Him and Gucci go into the booth to talk about the contract. Him, Gucci, and his dad, Pooh Shiesty dad, and another brother. So give me 1 second, y'all. All right, we continue. So as they're in the studio in the booth talking, things get a little heated. You know, they not seeing eye to eye on the, on agreement. They say Pooh Shiesty pulled out a contract, you know, and tell Gucci to sign it. Gucci said, "I'm not signing that." Guns get drawn. Gucci signed it. I heard that Gucci told him, "Look, it's not gonna be legal unless lawyers sign it." And he told him, "Man, be quiet if I shoot you," or something like that. But from what I see, everybody dispersed. They went back to their hotels. Pooh Shiesty had an apartment in Frisco or whatever. He went back there. So they was just poor criminals. We gonna break it down. These brothers who robbed Gucci Man and the other executives and choked out his security and all this stuff. These brothers got online with the jury, with the watches. Watches, they know, any investigator know they can't afford these watches. These was real top of the line Rolexes that these brothers stole. Or they stole Gucci Man wedding ring, like I said earlier. Other little valuables, a Louis bag with an air tag in it. So that's how they was able to locate a few of them. It's just crazy that these brothers did this crime and thought they was gonna get away. They thought of it lightly what they was doing. They didn't, the kidnapping part is, I heard when they was trying to get their possessions and the dude said, "Y'all really gonna take our stuff?" Because, at first they thought maybe Shiesty was just trying to, a lot of, over the years, a lot of rappers that went into labels and did a lot of answers to get out of deals and stuff like that. They didn't probably think he was serious, but he was serious. Everything you said, I'm a Mormon. No, sir. So, they probably didn't think that he was serious until they left with the watches, the bags, the jewelry. They took everything. They robbed him, held him against their will, choked out one of the dudes I heard got choked till he almost was unconscious or unconscious. It was just a bad deal. It's just like, if you want to get out your deal, this is the last thing you want to do. And everybody listen to Gucci Man, they think, and I heard other videos, they were saying he probably brought the people because he was scared if he got into a conversation with Gucci Man. Gucci Man way bigger than him, so he may have a little man's complex when it come to dealing with confrontation. But his dad had rented the cars that they came in. So they got all these brothers on the website, on the Justice website for Texas. This is a real case. They looking at life in a penitentiary in Texas for all these charges: armed robbery, kidnapping, robbery. It's serious. Then everything is on camera. Everybody saying Gucci Man snitched. No, he didn't. The studio was fully cameraed. It wasn't a janky studio. It was a real studio. The studio had a camera in it. Probably the damn booth had a camera in it. It's just like him, Durk, Vine, all these brothers threw their life away. Durk got killed downtown Chicago on the Gold Coast, where the rich people live and go shop at. You know, this drill music can put a lot of black brothers and Mexican brothers and even white people in jail or got shot up or ruined their lives trying to live a gangster life. The real gangsters is the government. They tell you what to do. If you don't do what they tell you to do, they take your time. They give you the 3 hots in a cot. They sit you down somewhere. You gonna work. You gonna earn some money for them, or you gonna get put out the way. You can't even lay in front of a business if you a bum downtown. They more worried about somebody stopping the money than crime. This is America. This is Babylon. So the Negro, he's the bottom of the totem pole. They gonna use him to do all the dirty work. The drug dealing. He gonna glamorify sets, drugs, and violence. And that's what they've been using us for the last 20, 30 years. Since Martin Luther King and Malcolm X died, they've been able to slowly use us to do their dirty work, to promote their dirty work, to make us look less and less as upstanding people. When we are the inventors of great inventions, most of the inventions that's used today was invented by a black man, but they'll rather try to promote us to be rappers, thugs, and athletes and entertainers versus creators, innovators, and great minds. They take the great mind of the black man and the black woman and they use it for folly. And that's the sad part about this whole situation, that these brothers don't realize they were puppets in a whole operation to make black people seem violent, more violent than they already are. We already coming from a vicious community where it's a crab in the bucket syndrome. Is violence on every corner because poverty and the lack of knowledge and the lack of know-how on any type of level of skills then created a crime-ridden neighborhoods. The politics is dirty. They're stealing. The polices are crooked. The teachers don't care. This is the type of environment these brothers is coming up from. So we have 2 choices coming from that type of environment. Either you gonna want to be something or you gonna end up being an average of nothing. A lot of brothers live a dormant life, a mediocre life, because they lack the knowledge to know how to elevate themselves. Meanwhile, in other communities, Chinese, Irish, Polish, whatever, white, they have a sector that keeps that community going where it comes to knowledge, building, sharing, trading with each other. They need their roof done. They call Bob because Bob has a roofing company. They gonna keep the dollar circulating in their community. Our dollar, I think it's staying in our hands for 6 hours maybe, and then it's in another community's hands. And black people produce probably the most when it comes to finances in America, when it comes to our money. These brothers, Durk, Pooh Shiesty, Vine, all these brothers was examples from the Most High that you're not going to go far with that violent stuff. You could be on top of the world today and on the bottom tomorrow because it's not righteous. It's not a righteous thing to do. You know, and I was young before I talked about what I went through and did in the community and what went on. And a lot of that is violence. You know, this ain't just started with them. This started way back NWA and Tupac and Biggie. They've been trying to get us to get there where we're at violence with each other. But it's really just the hate and the anger of the poverty, the oppression. And then we know we get less time if we attack each other. So it's cowardly too to keep trying to fight and attack and be violent with your brothers. If you in a community and you got brothers and enemies that want you dead, you probably need to move out that community instead of go to war and tear up the community, lose your life, lose your mama life. Everybody suffer because the pride, our pride. Sometimes we got to put our pride to the side. This is why Shiesty couldn't accept that Gucci said, look, bruh, you know, I know you want to get out the deal, but the contract says this. His pride wouldn't let him do that. Durk pride wouldn't let him accept that. Hey, bro, they say, you know, Quando killed Vine, bro, and he's still out here walking around. You ain't gonna get back for Vine. And then he tried to get back for Vine and missed Quando and killed somebody else and ended up being in jail for life. And Quando's still out. Quando's still alive. Gucci still out. Shiesty still signed to 1017. Even though he pulled a gun out on Gucci, tried to make him sign an illegitimate contract. He still signed a 1017. Durk still didn't get back for Vine. And these brothers done threw their life away. NBA YoungBoy drugged up. He's not even the same. So he's locked up in a cage on parole, stuck in the, you know, he's not even the same brother from Baton Rouge. He know he's being used to promote violence. Every time he drop, all of these emotional thugs get their panties in a bunch, ready to listen to these fake war songs. Real war is fighting for your community, fighting for your family, doing something that's gonna help the next generation, not doing something that's gonna put us in a worse situation where it's fathers and sons sitting in jail. Because that's what's going on with Pooh Shiesty and his dad. They both sitting in jail right now. That's what's going on in the black community. That's what's going on in the black community. 2 generations wasted, sitting in jail, leaving the women to fend for themselves. That's what's going on in the black community. And it's sad. Everybody think it's entertainment. Oh, he threw his life away. He did, but it make us look bad. Ain't no white artists throwing their lives away for violence. Ain't no Chinese artists throwing their lives away for violence. Mexican, yeah, they about 30% of the people that sit in jail, so they a part of it too. But in the great Mexican communities, when you look around, Mexicans is taking over this country. They doing the jobs. You go downtown in any city, you gonna see a Mexican doing the job. So while ICE rolling around trying to get everybody, it's not gonna work because they account for too much of the workload of America. Us and black people do too. America has become a land of a melting pot full of foreigners. But yet and again, black people, they keep putting us in this light, family. I hope y'all see this, how they put us in the light of entertainment, violence, and sports. We for play for these people. We for sport. These people don't, and they gonna keep playing it that way, knowing and then they'll save a few of us to do they thinking, to do the innovative things, because they know we do that too. But if you got too many people trying to be positive in the black community, then that's gonna have less people in jail. It's gonna be less of a reason to keep, they need a reason and somebody to blame. They need a scapegoat while they keep trying to put themselves in a good light. And that's the white supremacy that goes on in the world, that goes for these movements across seas with people who fight in Iran. They want to make themselves seem like the true people, so they have to put us in a bad light. So people will never say, hey, you say these black people are the chosen people of God. I'm looking at them. They look pretty pathetic. But that's our connection. God say we will be in this predicament. God say we be in one of all things, destroyed in a nation that's not our own, being ruled by people that's not our own. That's how far we fell from ruling in Jerusalem. That's how far we fell from the northern and southern kingdoms having lands allotted to each tribe by the Most High. We've lost it all. Now here we are, scattered to the 4 corners of the earth, living in the times of the Gentile as they run the earth, as they make the big deals when it comes to development and commerce in the world. While they fight wars against each other, while we sitting up just in the land of our captivities, waiting on the Lord to return, waiting on the Gentiles to blow each other up so the Lord can return. Because this is where we at in the world. World War III on the brink. Pedophiles run the country. Left wing and right wing fighting against each other as the eagle plummets and tumbles to the earth, fighting his own self. It's a sight to see. I got my popcorn, but it's sad too because our people suffer too inside of this Babylon, inside this beast. We still suffer. We still fight to come up, to have an average life, to have a somewhat good life. These brothers who promote this violence, they don't have all the cars and the chains for nothing. That's all show. And even if they do got it, their soul was lost in the midst of it. They was used to kill millions and thousands of brothers and sisters and send them off the wrong way. So they figure it's an even exchange. We'll pay you a lot of money to mislead people, to be an influencer of the wrong waves and wrong ways. Nothing is sacred anymore. Music, I can't even listen to music with words really no more. Just put on some jazz or something. I don't need to hear nothing. I don't need to hear nobody lies. Let every man be a liar. Back in blood, back in time. These two brothers is looking at life. It wouldn't be as now. How can Shiesty get 15 years from this instead of life? He could say, "Oh well, me and Gucci got in the argument. Some blows was passed, some weapons was drawn. You know, it got out of hand. We didn't know what was going on. We left there. You know, he had to blame the robbery of the products on his own homies. They had to take their own lick on that. He might escape with 15, but he wasn't supposed to be around the weapons. He was in violation of a lot of things. And even if he get out of there with 15 years, he just got out. His career is over with. Who wants to listen to Pooh Shiesty when he's 40, knowing he had crashed out and he ruined his career twice at the two biggest heights of his career? Even though the world loves this blood sport called the rap industry, football, basketball, boxing, they love the blood, they love the violence, because in our hearts, men are just wicked and we love violence. We love to take from people. We love the feeling of conquering and having our way and standing on our own shield on things. It's something about us that loves that. And this is why the rap arena, battle rapping and all this type of stuff, they want to see Drake and Kendrick battle, and they want to see, they love it. Even though people don't like to admit it, these videos get millions and billions of views. Somebody's watching this stuff, even though we're the scapegoat basically of the whole situation. They're using us to promote these things, but brothers killing other brothers in the ghetto when neither one of them have anything is ridiculous. It don't happen in the Jewish community. It don't happen in the Mexican community. Not as much as it happens in the black community. Because we have the least amount of knowledge. We've been the most neglected, and we have the least amount of knowledge to get out of our poverties. We stuck in situations, and then we're the least educated. And then our disobeying of the Most High keeps us in this situation, forever with our hand out, asking the government, aka the white man, help us, give us. They cut off the link, people don't know what to do. They cut off no jobs, people don't know what to do, because we're forever got our hands open to the system. These brothers who dying trying to be rappers, they think they gonna get millions. They not just rapping about their enemies and trying to get signed to a label for nothing. No, they think they're gonna be the next Chief Keef. They think they're gonna be the next Durk, the next Pooh Shiesty. This is a part of what keeps the violence going. You can't just, back in the day, if you ain't like somebody else's enemies, y'all kept it in the streets. Now people take it to the internet. They talk about you online and they do videos and they make it a public thing. And and now people pride kick in. Oh, I gotta do something. We gotta get him. He's online talking about us. He's embarrassing us. We gotta let people know that we not gonna put up with that. Now we gotta demonstrate. And he thought, and Shiesty, he thought he had to demonstrate. Oh, Gucci ain't gonna let me on my deal. Let me demonstrate how violent I could get. Durk said, oh, he think he gonna kill Vine and get away with it. Let me demonstrate how violent I could get. But look what these brothers lost. Even though they were promoting violence, they could have eventually turned it around, promoted positivity. But they blew their finances. They was helping their families out. They was able to still go to schools and talk to people, even though they rap about this stuff. People could talk to them. They could go to prisons and talk. Look, you have so much power in your hands when you come from the ghettos rapping what you experience, and they say, we'll give you a whole bunch of money for it, and you look up, oh, they used me. When you realize, oh, you've been used, at that point, you use your power for positivity, to turn things around, to try to balance. Can't just be all violence. You have to tell people the other side. You can't talk about drug dealing. You can't tell people about the time they looking at if they get caught. You can't tell people about how their best friend robbed them for a kilo, like paid in full. You gotta let the brothers and sisters know. You can't tell the sisters to go shake ass and sell cat and don't tell them the other side of the game about the depression, about you possibly being raped and killed, and all of the things you might experience becoming a drug addict in the game. They're pushing this stuff through these rap artists, through these entertainers, but they're not telling people the truth. But knowledge is increasing, and now everybody's saying, oh, if you're a rapper, yeah, you sign somebody. People already know the game now, so everybody want to go independent. Entertainers already know, oh, I got to do this to make it, so they already willing to sell out. But like I said earlier, we can't blame these brothers when there's people at the top that offer money, that make that set up $1 million videos to talk about and let them pick guns and talk about violence in these videos and send them on tour to talk about this violence. Yeah, it's your story, but eventually you must grow. Yeah, that's my story. That's where I came from, but that ain't where I'm staying at. You got to show growth in your career. Pooh Shiesty got out of jail. He showed no growth. Listen to him talk. The brother vocabulary is low. I ain't trying to talk about the brother, but he said he was reading there. I can't tell. You supposed to show growth. You went to jail, got 5 years for doing some young dumb shit. When you get out again, you supposed to, you locked in the rap industry and you got to talk about violence. That's the sad part. He get out, even if he did grow as a man, he still got to go back into the grinder and hype up the streets and talk about violence, drugs, killings, and continue to live in his rep. He got to keep this ego, this pride. So it's a double-edged sword anyways. Most people don't escape it. They're not able to escape the persona, the gangster persona they have to live to make money. Only a few like 50 Cent and even T.I. and a few other brothers who, even Gucci Mane. He had that to look to. Gucci Mane showed growth in his career. He was a young knucklehead and he got married, had kids, and his music reflected that. Shiesty didn't show that in his music, that I'm growing up. He got out more arrogant, more cocky, and his actions reflected it. Durk didn't learn them when he went to jail and him and Vine was sitting in court for shooting in Atlanta. Soon as, he was on these pills and doing drugs and that stuff, the drugs is serious too. It affects the mind. It affects the decision making. That'd be the only way he get 20 years, because he said he was high doing everything, just like Diddy said he was high doing everything. These industries, they know these brothers got to be high and full of drugs to get the mission accomplished. No sane mind could do it and not feel guilty, not feel like they want to give up. They're tired of it. So they got to give them some perks or some Molly or some alcohol or, whatever that settles them to get them through the job. It's like being a hoe. The industries is the pimp. The record labels, these record labels are the pimps and these artists are the hoes. And they gonna give the hoe whatever she need to get through her night to go get that money. And that's what's going on in the rap industry. That's what's going on in the entertainment industry. In every industry, everybody's hoeing themselves out. Whether you're a social media content creator, you hoeing yourself out for that outlet. YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. People sit on the camera all day, TikTok, and they give their time and their life to the outlet, the social media outlet, and they think they're feeding their fans and feeding the people with their presence, but at the end of the day, you just really just sitting on camera just ticking away. Is this really what life has become? This is why I don't go live much. I want to go live more because I want to talk to the people. I want to get this knowledge out that God has given me. So I feel like my voice is needed. My point of view is needed from coming from a Hebraic perspective. I'm not perfect, but God is. His laws is. And we got to follow his laws and statutes and commandments to avoid the pitfalls of the devil, these devices he has out here to trap our brothers and sisters. We must. It's a war going on. And you got to have your armor on. You got to have the armor of God on, the armor of Yah. I want brothers to understand that God had his final say-so. He wasn't going to let brothers go all around the ghettos of the world from London to America talking about how gangster they are without the main people who started this movement dying in cold blood, going to jail in cold time. Most of the people in that video are dead or in jail. Go look at these videos where people got the guns, and a lot of it's sad, it's eerie how they say, yeah, this person died, this person went to jail. Yeah, they took this picture and everybody's dead in this picture but one person. Everybody's dead in this picture but two people. Because that life, just like the older folks told us back in the day, it leads to jail or death. Ain't no other exit. You living a gangster life. You talking about robbing and killing, stealing, drug dealing, prostitution, drug addiction and abuse. You talking about these things, you got two exits, death or jail. Or on the street somewhere, cracked out or drugged out, that's death too, just a slower version. I hope this shine light to brothers who think they want to be a rapper. This brother was one of the biggest rappers in the industry. He had dispute about his contract, meaning he not getting the money he feel he deserved. Which I said earlier, I feel like he had plenty. He crashed out. He had enough to retire and never drop a song for the rest of his life. That's how big his catalog was for the streets, for the young people who like to hear that music. But, that's what goes on, man. The old music, music was music, 70s, 80s, early 90s, early 2000s, when the music was really good and really had feeling and emotion, and it really spoke on how people felt when music was music. Now music is like it's like a transaction. It's not even timeless or something that you could sit with and come back to. It's like, okay, that's how I feel for 3 or 4 minutes, then we on to the next. Back in the day, them songs lasted. Man, you hit a song, man, it's gonna last. You would be playing it when you got kids. That's how good the song was. These days, brother drop the song, you don't even remember the song. A year go by, you don't even remember the song. Month go by, it's like a movie. Oh, that came out. I don't dang. We won't remember it unless it came to video. That Blockbuster. Unless the radio keep playing it because the labels got to make their money. So, our brothers know that you're more than just rappers, entertainers, and athletes. We're inventors, businessmen and women, teachers, lawyers, doctors, engineers. We could do it all, family. If you want to play sports, cool. But it's a tool to do other things. It's not your end all be all. If you want to rap, cool. But grow and invest in other things. Understand that, it's an industry and they're taking your story, your look, and everything that you are, and they want to bottle it up and sell it. And it has an expiration date on it. And once the milk is spoiled, they go on to the next carton. They go on to the next jug. Who's the fresh jug on the block that we could get milk out of? Who the new cow on the block we could get milk out of until we chop them up and sell them to the market, to some other buyer. It's a wicked industry. And the Most High sees all these things. I believe the Most High speaks to all these brothers. You think Durk didn't know what he was doing was wrong? He wouldn't have put out a song with J. Cole talking to the kids. He knew he had to talk. He wouldn't have did a concert trying to say, man, shout out to all his enemies that he was beefing with. He wanted to bring it to peace. In his last concert before he went to jail, he knew what he had to do to make things right, to take his power and his energy to do positive things. But the pride and the ego get in the way. Oh, I don't want them to think I'm weak. I don't want them to think I'm letting up. You know what I'm saying? I want them to know, it's still on. Instead of, saving lives and saving kid lives, saving their own lives. And then you see brothers like Wallow who was talking to these brothers, before. I'm pretty sure Gucci talked to Shiesty before he did this and told him how the industry was and how the record deal go and how he got to make his way out of it. He ain't the first person to sign a record deal. And he wouldn't have been the first person to buy himself out of his deal because he had enough motion to do that. But now these brothers both sit in jail. Another statistic. Another example of how they use us, build us up, how the rap police following you, and then any little slip up, everything is swiped under your feet. And guess who reaps the benefits of all this when the music is still selling and they want to sell your all-time greatest hits? Guess who's still making money? The labels. And they didn't risk their life at all. You was the one that went on tour and ducked shots in the ghetto to talk about it on the microphone. These labels don't risk their life. They risk their money. And they got an assurance on their money. They sign these rappers knowing they gonna die. They sign these rappers knowing the possibility of them dying is very high. Talking about violence. Going through every ghetto in America to every club and venue performing, talking about violence while thousands of people get hype and jump around. They know people gonna die at these concerts, after the concerts. Because it ain't a peace rally. These songs ain't being played at church or at a peace rally. They been played on a Saturday night in a club with people dancing and sweaty and full of alcohol and drugs. God ain't there. If he is, he trying to save somebody and bring them back home because he ain't there to stay. The spirit ain't there to stay, I can tell you that one. It's just crazy, This is where we at in America. And the game gonna keep going on and on. They're gonna find another young brother that's talking about violence to sign him, to make him a superstar, give him all the clout. They can make superstars. All these social media influencers, Casanata, Drewski, all these brothers is signed to, you know what I'm saying, the ish. That's all I'm gonna say. They signed to the ish. to the Bullish. They signed to them peoples. And several other wicked people that run shit at the top of the industries. Social media and entertainment is a $1 trillion industry. They control the masses with it. They tell you what to think and who's bad and who's good, and that's how they get out. It's mental warfare. It's a mental warfare going on. They telling you what to think, what to eat, what to drink, how to feel. People are robots now. You hop online, your emotions gonna be twisted 100 ways for you close that phone and stop scrolling. Something happen, a war going on, they gonna tell you what's going on. They ain't gonna give you an opportunity to research it yourself. They gonna put the lie right in front of your face, and those that's lazy, they not gonna do the research to see what's the truth. They just gonna take what's in front of them. They just gonna eat what they put on their plate. They ain't gonna think, man, wait, can I make my own food? Can I go get my own food? Can I choose what I wanna eat? Institutionalized by the system. There's invisible bars out here. There's institutional things going on inside of penitentiaries, and there's institutional things going on outside in the real world, in society. And people, they go crazy, they can't deal with it, they give up. Everybody not strong enough to deal with what's going on. Being twisted and turned every which way, being robbed and stolen from, and your life isn't your life. Life isn't even what they said it would be. False advertisement. And then you gotta keep going forward and push on. You don't have time to cry and pout about it. I'm gonna get up out of here though, man. I'm gonna sit around, see if anybody got anything to say in the chat for a couple minutes, then we gonna get up out of here. We gonna cap this off. These brothers did videos, Back in Blood, you know, talking about killing their enemies in the streets and stealing from a brother and tell him if you want it, you could get it back in blood. Well, God came and he laid his law down, and his verdict is all you brothers are sitting in jail or dead for promoting the lie, for promoting violence, and using your God-given abilities, the breath he put in you to speak death, to promote death. It's serious out here. Y'all keep y'all eyes open. The Most High ain't never stop working. There's gonna be plenty of more examples of why you shouldn't play with the Most High. Why the wicked and evil will never get away with what they do. The example will always be that of their true reward, not the reward we seen, but the true reward of it. See, we see the glitz and the glamour, and we think that's the true reward of doing the devil's work. No, the true reward is something way worse than that, that makes those little trinkets and toys nothing to their suffering. The suffering these brothers and sisters have to go through. That's any brother that's dealing with sin, dealing with the devil, let alone a brother that's a sister that's highly esteemed and everybody think they got it all and they really don't got nothing. Everybody think they got it all and they really don't love themselves. They've been abused by the industry, abused by the government and the world, abused by the devil and his lies. We got to come back to the Most High, family. He always gives us a chance to turn it around. But we got to do it in due time. We got to walk through the door while it's open. It ain't going to be open forever. We got to choose which side we on. So we going to do the work of the Most High, or we going to do the devil's work. I'm Base Jerusalem. It's a Hebrew life. Shalom, family. Get on up out of here.